First news alert for you. There's a new push to protect America's electrical grid after concerns that it is vulnerable to terrorist acts. All this gaining new urgency after a report about a sniper attack on a U.S. power station in Northern California. KT McFarland is our Fox News national security analyst to help us understand this. KT, great to have you.
Good to see you.
These reports are chilling.
Yeah, they are.
Last April, and this is only now coming to light,
Yes.
the authorities wanted to keep this under wraps for, I guess, obvious reasons, not wanting copycats. But what happened was there were gunmen that opened fire on this electrical substation in California, and they also clipped the fiber optic lines to the phone and to 911.
Yeah.
Was this a dry run for terrorism?
That's what you have to assume. You have to assume the worst, and this was a very well executed, well carried out terror attack, and we're only now, as you point out, finding out about it almost a year later. As scary as that is, and you said it's chilling, it is, but that's a terrorist attack that we know how to prevent. You just beef up the security at electric facilities around the country, at the electric grid, at the power stations, at the substations. I'm more worried about another kind of attack, which is the cyber attack. You know, if you don't even need to have somebody show up at the substation with a machine gun to have a really effective attack against the American electric grid, you do it from a computer that's somewhere halfway around the world. We already know that other countries' intelligence services have tapped in to the entire American infrastructure. You know, the power stations, the electric grids, everything that we need to sort of have modern life. We are the most vulnerable country because everything we do is on the internet. But yet at the same time, we're probably the most equipped to defend ourselves against it, but we don't do it.
Okay, back to the power grid for a second before we figure out how to tackle the cyber attack. Back to the power grid, you said we know how to fix that. Are we fixing it?
No, we're not fixing that. Why? Because, you know, these companies are competitive. They're trying to trim costs. The federal government, they don't want us to have a new expenditure. Should they provide the security? There's no sort of uniform standard of how these places should be protected.
Though Senator Dianne Feinstein is calling for some standards or security standards for substations. I guess we haven't had that yet. Is that the answer?
That's one of the answers. You know, this is not going to be one silver bullet protects the entire American electric grid, water supply, and everything else. It's going to have to be a series of things. One, how do you prevent a physical attack, and how do you defend against a physical attack? How do you know when a physical attack is coming? As you pointed out, they already clipped the phone lines and the internet. So if that substation's under attack, who do they call? They have no way of getting anybody there to even know that that's a problem.
By the way, the FBI says they have no suspects, and they also say that they don't believe this is terrorism. Well,
except for the electric company says no, they do think it was terrorism, and it was a very well executed. This is not just a bunch of, you know, teenage guys going off shooting off guns. This was a commando raid, and I think it's finally getting some attention.
Very quickly, back to the cyber attack that concerns you more. What's the answer?
A bunch of things that wouldn't cost that much money. We build in redundancy. We build, there are various ways to harden the facilities so that they can't be attacked. Some people think for $2 billion, you know, what we waste in aid to Pakistan every year, we could use to harden a lot of our cyber or our electric infrastructure. There's a great book, Joel Brenner, who's the former director of counterintelligence for the NSA. He's written a book called Glass Houses describing what these cyber attacks could look like.
I think I'm going to let you read
really
that
chilling.
and then make me feel better about it. KT, thanks. Always
Thanks,
great to
Allie.
see you.